wisdom, stand upright. Let us hear the Holy Gospel. Peace be with you all. The reading is from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew.
Glory to you, glory to you.
At that time, when Jesus was passing by, two blind men followed him, crying aloud and saying, "Have mercy on me, Son of David." When he entered the house, the blind men came to him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" They said to him, "Yes, Lord." Then Jesus touched their eyes, saying, "According to your faith, be it done to you." And their eyes were opened, and Jesus sternly charged them, "See that no one knows it." But they went away and spread his fame through all that district. As they were going away, behold, a dumb, demonic-possessed was brought to Jesus. And when the demon had been cast out, the dumb man spoke. The crowds marveled, saying, "Never was anything like this seen in Israel." But the Pharisees said, "He casts out demons by the prince of demons." And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every infirmity of the people.
Glory to you, Lord, glory to you.
Fear God and give him glory. Fear offending him and correctly worship him, and you will be saved and keep the faith. It is a simple thing. Fear God and give him glory. God is always trying to make it simple for us in this complicated world. And the easiest way to keep your life simple is simply to be obedient to his will. There is no simpler way. It simplifies the mind and it humbles it. Humbles it so that it attracts God's grace, receiving good thoughts that turn into good intentions, full of love. Anyone who has unselfish love, humility and good intentions will attract the gaze of God and his grace, especially if they act on it. In today's gospel, it says Christ touched the blind man's eyes and said, "According to your faith, you will be healed." Here we see two important things. Firstly, the need for faith if we are to be healed. And secondly, the need to be touched by God. When God has touched our heart, it is changed. The way we look at the world is changed. In today's gospel, the two blind men were healed physically. But this can only happen if we have faith and are firstly healed spiritually within. God puts more value on healing us spiritually within than physically without. Because there are many people that have not been healed physically, but have been healed spiritually and got into heaven. And many who are physically fit and have ended up in hell when they die. Christ also sternly warned the two blind men that he had healed to tell no one of this miracle. Why? Because Christ desired at that time, before he was publicly revealed himself as the Messiah, he wanted to be able to do all his good deeds in secret so that he could move around more freely and reach more people. Christ said elsewhere in the Gospel, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. If where possible, try to do your good deeds in secret. In that way, all the glory goes to God. But they were disobedient and spoke about it to everyone. They thought that they were doing good. They trusted their own opinion before Christ's. But without guidance and obedience, it is often dangerous. And the good deeds, because they are unprotected, can even harm us and others. The world is full of places where people have died unnecessarily because they have gone there with good intentions but no wisdom. Good intentions but no obedience to what God's will is. Good intentions trusting their own will before God's will. It is not enough to have good intentions. We also need to know what is God's will so that our good deeds can be protected and produce fruit. Hell is full of people who thought that they were doing good. So let us do good deeds with guidance. How? By seeking God's will. Ask your spiritual father and trust him. Pray often. Read the gospel and the holy scriptures and the lives of saints. Christ's whole life is an act of obedience. He says elsewhere in the gospel, I do nothing of myself. I only do what my Father tells me to do. Christ lived a life of obedience to all of God's commandments and God the Father's will. His whole life is an act of obedience, so that we have no way in saying that we do not need to be obedient. So he teaches us that to be a Christian, a true Christian, is to imitate Christ's example of obedience. And why obedience? Because when Adam and Eve first sinned, when they ate an apple from the tree they were told not to eat from, or even touch, they disobeyed God. They did their own will rather than God's will. So the first part of their soul that was damaged was their will. The soul is separated to three main parts mostly: the mind, the will, and the feeling. And the first part to be damaged was the will. So it so sinned, did not repent, and had to leave the Garden of Eden. And that sin has been passed down to this day, which has to be removed at baptism. This will, which gives us freedom to choose, this will is our willpower, and it needs to be healed first for our salvation. And what is the quickest way to heal our will? By doing God's will. God's will leads us to being healed and saved. And then, when we do God's will, we will not only be saying the Lord's Prayer with power and with love and with deep wisdom and understanding, but living it when we now say, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Remember,